Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Authentic Conversations with Adele podcast. We're happy you're here and we'd love you to share and like and leave a comment if you're liking these guests that I keep bringing on to the show. A little bit about myself and transition clarity. I am a change advocate, intuitive guide, and I help primarily men in finding their true authentic self. I do hold sacred men's circles for them to be able to come and share from their heart what's really happening with themselves in their life, whether you're in transition of, maybe leaving ready to retire in 15 to 18 months, loss of a parent, empty nester, all of a sudden all these burdens are on your heart, but yet you have an ache for more. Give me a call and we can discuss if the circle is for you. Um, I'd love to have a conversation with anyone who feels called to follow me. Everything that we talk about will be in the show notes tonight. And with that, I'm excited to introduce you guys to Tyson Sharpe. He is a spiritual business coach and host of the Serving Circle community, and that's where I met him. And his offer is anyone who wants to join the serving circle, you're more than welcome. And what I love about the serving circle is Tyson holds a space for us all to come and share our unique gifts with all the, different avenues of how we all show up in our business, but in a supportive, loving, kind way. And he's just, you know, learning on the journey with us, and he's always finding different master classes for us to do, teaching points for us, and it's a great way to join in community. And so with that, I want to welcome Tyson Sharpe to Authentic Conversations with Adele. Okay, welcome to the show, Tyson.
Thank you. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. Well, you've been on my list a long time, but it's just the way it is. And now, I think for me, this is a better time for the fact, like in the introduction, I was saying how you're always creating for us in the serving circle of better ways to serve, and giving us like these um little mini courses on how to get better into our work. And now, as we're talking with the money one, bringing in guests and for the money one, which a lot of people are enjoying. And just before we started recording, um, we tapped in on the creativity of what you're doing and house pet sitting and how you love animals. And I was just like amazed that you can get paid for this and it keeps the people's house safe. The house is safe because you're looking after it, and the animals are calmer because they just get a nice person to come play with them. And so, yeah, expand on how that's your way in a way of serving in your circle, your community.
Well, sure. What I was just explaining to you is that I like to kind of view my life as a canvas, and I think many people don't sit down enough and think, how do I want to design my life? What are all the ways in which I can remain in my zone of genius, to have more fun, to be joyful, to make more money, to save more money, these sort of things. And I've just gone through a pretty big transition around about 7 months ago, where I ended an intimate relationship I had
Hmm.
and just had that time to just ask myself those questions and just to sort of say, hey, you know, it took a lot of courage to leave that relationship because it wasn't aligned.
Hmm.
So I had to be very honest with myself and with her, of course. And then I'm just like, how do I want to design my life? I don't have too many commitments in terms of kids. I don't have, kids and a family in that way. But I love my intimate family. I love my extended family. I love, obviously serving the serving circle and serving my clients and growing my business and all these things. But while I work online full time,
Yeah.
I just, it went through my mind. I'm like, what if I just pet sat full time
Yeah.
and travel around different parts of Melbourne, visit all the different golf courses that I can explore. And what if I just did that? And it was just a thought. But as you know, when you follow your heart, synchronicities sometimes just take over.
Yeah.
And without much effort, I just really got booked out pet sitting and found out you can get paid to do it. And so not only am I not paying rent or utilities anywhere, I'm also being paid to live in people's homes and look after their pets. And as you know, I would do that for free because I think pets just add a lot of value to your life. I think
Yeah.
they're just a ball of love and a ball of humor, and just they establish the kind of compassion and love that's unconditional that we would like to see more in ourselves and others.
Hmm.
And so that's just what I've decided to do. And I'm basically booked out since I started in December.
That's awesome. And it's also, I want to touch on the fact of like animals are showing us how to be in alignment. Because even a
Yeah.
loving dog, even your dog, like the person that owns the dog, if they come home with a bunch of junk on their back, the dog isn't coming near you. The dog's
Mm.
saying, I don't know what happened when you left the house, but you came home with naughty stuff, right? And until the person figures out that, oh, I brought work home with them, or like the traffic was just crazy, and releases that, the dog's not coming near you, or a
Mm.
cat, right? And so it's a great way of looking at just life in general, of the alignment.
Mm.
And it's also brings up the point of, this is what I love about the circle is over the last 5 years, and I think we were going this direction without the shutdown. We've become a society of lonely people that think we're not,
Mm.
right? And this is one of the things I like with the circle is like someone will find out something and they'll get it to you, and all of a sudden that message of let's give a love bomb out. And we all just like fire off messages for that person who's just needing a bit of support, needing a bit of love,
Mm.
right? And it's these little gestures that make this group so different to the other ones, right? If this is more of a family, a community of support. And for me, I'm blessed with who I've met through this group.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're
Yeah.
blessed to have you.
Oh, thank you.
I think when it comes to that's the intention I wanted to set. I wanted to set a level of just a type of compassion, a type of connection that's unique. And it is true what you say there. We have never been more, you know, technologically more connected,
Hmm.
but we're also starving for emotional connection.
Hmm.
Where emotional connection's down,
Hmm.
technology connection is up. So we feel I'm connected to everyone. I can message them whenever I want, and you know, my friends are in India or in Pakistan, the US, whatever, and I can just message them. But you know, not many people are feeling actually emotionally seen and connected, and they don't feel like they can call upon friends when they are actually going through stuff. And that's not how we're wired, you
I
know?
know.
Yeah. And
Well,
so
and
I love to do that.
I even look at my life, and before the shutdown, I was seeing thousands of people every day
Mm,
touring around the Canadian Rockies. And then I got my computer screen, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess this business is really coming to fruition
mm,
because I was playing at it, right? It was a hobby. I'm like, oh, you want to go take me for dinner? Then talk about your transition? Sure. What's going on? What's happening? They paid me for dinner. All right. I was already working, so it was just a bonus. I didn't have to buy my own dinner that night. And
yeah,
and then I came home to, oh, I got a computer screen. No one's going out.
yeah.
And yeah, like, and I've even seen people too at the coffee shop, which I don't go very often. Um, they have their earbuds on with their phone, talking to their friend in wherever, thinking at least we're having a coffee somewhat together,
Yeah.
right? Like you're making it work. And
Mm,
I've even listened to podcasts of psychologists and stuff saying the movie The 40-Year-Old Virgin is becoming a norm,
mm,
not an not the abnormal, because we're so on our screens, we don't know what it's like to actually be in the presence of
mm.
people, let alone the opposite, like who you're attracted to. I mean,
Yeah,
being attracted to somebody was already hard, and then
yeah.
we haven't been in that proximity. It's like, what? We got to talk to them? We might have to touch them? Are you crazy? Right?
Foreign world.
Well, yeah, it makes it even harder. So that's why the serving circle makes it that more enjoyable because we may not know each other deep, yet you feel the love,
Yeah,
right? Like it's just
definitely.
like I just connected with Christopher the other night. How long I've been coming, and I'm like, I gotta meet that guy. I gotta meet that guy. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, I'm so glad I met you,
Yeah.
right? Because he was pulling things out of me that I had no idea that for my men's circle that was calling. And I'm like, I can't put a price on that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I find people in the serving circle, we all just have such unique gifts and we're all just reflections of each other as we go on a very similar journey. We're all on a journey to get our mission out there and obviously do what we love full time and, just kind of grow into the version of us that we're called to become as we
Hmm.
go on that journey. Um, I really resonate with that. I get goosebumps every time I think of Bronnie Weir and her work as a palliative care nurse. And she, when she came up with the five regrets of the dying,
All
and
right.
paraphrasing the first one, but most people said that they really just regret not living the life that was truly meant for them.
Hmm.
They didn't have the courage to um, really live an authentic life that they knew they were meant to live. Instead of they lived the life of expectations from other people,
Hmm.
which tells me that everyone's got this little voice inside them. Everyone's got this nudge that says you're meant to live this way. You're meant to follow this passion. You're meant to follow this excitement. You're meant to help people in this way and contribute in this way. You're meant to be this way with other people in terms of your kindness and your love and your depth. And for most people to say, I wish I had the courage to live a life that was truly me, is just that. I'm like, that tells me it's a game of life. That is the game of life. If
Yeah.
you're literally on your deathbed and that's the one thing that many people say, I wish that's how I lived, then we can learn from that. Let's just live that. Let's just live that way now. It takes a lot of courage to follow your heart, to do
Hmm.
what's right, to put yourself out there, to face failure, criticism, judgments, even huge amounts of success. In some cases, is a big fear for people. So it takes a lot of courage, and for people in the serving circle to share that mission and share that journey of going on those steps, I think it's special.
Well, and the thought just came to me. They say people aren't afraid of death because they're afraid of public speaking. If we are aligned to our purpose and we're sharing what we're supposed to share, public speaking isn't an issue
Mm,
because we're speaking our truth, right? And somehow we were told thousands and thousands of years ago that our head and our heart are supposed to be separate. Why? Because our truth is spoken. There's no separation. And so that's what I'm working with people is like to stop the separation, stop the dualities, right? If you're speaking your truth, you're never separate, whether it's public speaking or just sharing on a call with a friend. You're not scared to pick up the phone and call your friend to say, "Hey, do you want to go for coffee?" So just translate into the stage. Hey, do you want to go for coffee? Like,
yeah.
right? So I think that fear and like that with same with the hospice is that we've made it so intangible and so dualistic that it's like it's the same thing if you're in your heart.
Mm. It's more authentic. Yeah,
Yeah,
it just like you say, it just flows through you. Um, it's quite simple in ways.
but very hard.
Like I think the journey is quite simple. You listen,
Hmm.
you follow your heart to the best of your ability, you process the emotions that come up along the way, and you surrender to what outcome comes, whether it's a lesson, whether it's a huge win, whether it's something in between. You just surrender and just know that that's in your highest, and you keep moving forward. And you just do those same steps, right?
Hmm.
Keep listening within. You take that heart's leap. You process the emotions that come up along the way, and then you keep moving forward by just surrendering to the outcome, not placing judgments on the outcome.
Yeah.
And the more you do that, your life just unfolds in ways that are very simple. You just follow those steps,
Hmm.
but it also brings up the deep things that people's mind doesn't really want to face.
Yeah.
That's the you know that's the fallback a lot of people have when they're like, oh, I can't really live that way. It's only because of how they will feel, how they think they will feel on the journey of following their heart. They're like, I'm going to have to feel, you know, failure, face judgments, have, you know, disappointments. Maybe some shame will come up.
Hmm.
All these things. But the only reason why people don't follow that calling is because of the emotions they think they will need to feel. So that's why all my work is based around doing that emotional piece.
Right. So do you find your friends are on the same journey? Like that looking inward, that presence, that alignment, or they just got a job?
Yeah, a lot of my friends have jobs. Like my friends here in Melbourne,
Hmm.
they all have jobs. My brother, I've got a twin brother.
Hmm.
He is more entrepreneurial, definitely on the personal development side of things. My friends, they're not into spirituality, but they
Interesting.
naturally just embody love. They're such good people. You just have that group of friends where when you're around them, they lift you up. They have an energy, like a collective energy together, where we just know no matter what happens, we're there for each other.
Hmm.
That's so important. And I think even though we're not together in terms of, I wouldn't talk to them about the spiritual books that I have read or the meditation journey I'm on or these. I might mention it, but I won't go deep in those conversations. But I think they offer something different to my life. They offer a uniqueness and a unique energy that goes beyond what I share with people with the serving circle. We
Hmm.
have a lot of banter and a lot of laughter, a lot of playfulness, but it's also developed also in a depth of we're there for each other no matter what. And that that sort of mateship, we call it here in Australia, it's like a real
Hmm.
clear mateship, um, is super important. So I know I'll never be alone. I've got people that I can talk to and fall back on if when challenges arise and things like this. And same with my family. My family is very similar regarding not necessarily on the spiritual journey, but such an environment of love and support and kindness and humor and yeah. So
So
getting
this,
different value from everywhere.
well, so this makes it, this is very interesting to me because of how what I know of you, I would have thought you would have this conversation with at least one friend outside the circle.
Yeah, I do in ways. I definitely do in
Yeah,
ways.
because how
I do
did you
have.
end up coming to the building this circle of empowerment and speaking truth and staying grounded and staying in your heart
Yeah.
if you're not having it outside? Like, so it's very
No,
interesting.
I
It's like
do as
you're,
well. I do as well. I mean, the I got into spirituality really with my online community. You know, that's where it started. And just doing my own study and my own courses, and so it was a journey of just all online. But
hmm
then, yeah, outside of that, I did meet some people who are on the spiritual journey who I can go deep with.
hmm
Um, some serving circle members have become offline friends, but I
hmm
have also met offline friends who are into that sort of stuff. But yeah, it did start online, so
yeah.
it's how the path unfolded.
Well, and I get it because I have friends in my life that it's like they'll say, "Don't talk about that woo-woo crap."
Yeah,
And I'm like, "It's life, right?" Like
yeah,
I don't separate them. And then others are like so read and evolved that it's like I love the conversation with them because it stretches me. Like I'm just
okay.
like, I
In
right?
what way? What way does it stretch you?
Um I'm more of a feeler. I'm more of a hang on, what am I hearing? Guide, right? From my guides, where they'll bring up the philosophy of stuff because they're very read, they're very learned, and I'll be
Yeah,
like, that's great, but what do you feel? And they'll
okay.
be like, but the words you're saying, I go, okay, but I don't like it's like so we stretch each other by I say, well, feel
Yeah.
into what that book is saying. And like here's a great example of when I first read Eckhart Tolle, The New Earth, I was like, great book. We're not ready for it.
Mm. I gave that book to my mum, and she's like, "It doesn't make sense to me." I'm like, "All right, fair enough."
Yeah. And then weirdly, the end of last year, Oprah brought it back to her book club. She's never brought books back. I thought, odd. My friend who stretches me says, hey, we're all, a bunch of us are all reading A New Earth. And I'm like, hmm, totally different book now,
Yeah,
right? And then he always knows that I'm like, put it on fast speed, right? He goes, one speed. I'm like, one? His voice. And he goes, the message is in the pregnant pause.
yeah,
Totally different book, totally different experience.
yeah.
And then Roger, who in the serving circle, heard him coming up 2 years now, right? On a podcast. And I'm like, who's Wilhelm? Right? But more importantly, Wilhelm said, you don't think Eckhart Tolle isn't one of us? Of course he is. You humans needed a book to sit at the park with. And I went, dang. So
Mm.
when I met Roger and then subsequently got introduced to Wilhelm in a personal way, and I was just like, "Oh, this is funny. The new Earth was not ready to be new."
Yeah.
And we have only just shifted since November 20th of 2024 into the new Earth of Aquarius. So Eckhart was channeling this way before we were ready, just like Roger's been channeling way before we were ready. But now we're ready. And you embody that about I'm just on my journey. I do my meditations for me, not for anyone else.
Yeah, of course.
Right? And even I got caught because I was on a podcast earlier and I was just like, that was like a bee buzzing, right? For me. And I said to the person recording, I said, did that make sense or do we need to record again? He goes, no, total sense. I'm like, okay. I felt so ungrounded. I was like, what the, right? And so this one, I made sure I was grounded because I know you're coming in grounded
Yeah.
and it's a totally different experience. But ultimately, whoever you listen to, yourself, whatever, the the message across what I've been listening to and the books I'm reading is it all comes with loving self.
Yeah. Just being yourself, loving all sides of you,
Hmm.
seeing yourself as whole, seeing yourself connected to everything. It's all one. There's just there's just the same messages reflected in different ways, isn't there?
Hmm.
And if you're on the journey and your intention is just love more of yourself, be more authentic, you'll never regret that journey. There's no one who literally followed their heart that I know of, but who followed their heart's calling to the best of their ability,
Hmm.
healed in ways that they need to heal, even if it's uncomfortable,
Hmm.
and then detached themselves from the outcome in terms of you know, their expectations or assumptions, and then said, "No, it wasn't worth it." I don't know anyone, and
Yeah.
I do this with clients every day for the last 9 years.
Hmm.
I've had no one say it wasn't worth it. No,
Yeah.
no, didn't like it. Didn't enjoy it going down that path. It didn't lead to anything fruitful. Literally, I've had no one.
Well,
Everyone said it was worth it. Everyone said yes,
it's
that's the journey I was meant to be on.
it's worth it when they get through the quagmire, right? So if you're starting in point A and you're going, I don't know, do I want to do coaching? I don't know, am I ready for it? And then depending if you get in front of a coach that is heart centered, they'll say, you might not be ready right now. Call me next month, right? But like I always say to my clients, you're either going to shift from A to B or A to G. It doesn't matter to me where you shift. The shift will happen. You have to do the work to how far and
Yeah,
fast you do it. Right? And some people, it's like I've gotten the calls in the quagmire where it's like, what the heck is going on? And I'm like, the shift, breathe,
yeah,
embody the change. Right? And now we are moving so fast as a world, the change is happening fast. And this is where, like, the grounding, the meditation, the whatever you do to ground is so important because you could be grounded right now and an hour later you're in la la land,
of course.
right? And so it's checking in on every hour, right? And
Yeah,
I mean, I did this when I was working corporate 15 years ago or more, that I was like, I'm trying to work with all these guys and I'm like, what is going on? I can't, right? I can't work with these. And I'm like, huh. And I put it on their calendar. Every hour in the hour, 3 deep breaths. They're like, can we take it
yeah,
off? Nope.
that's so cool.
Well, because I could, like, I had 20 projects. managers, and they're bringing like, and it's not like we're, working in a couple $1,000s. We're working in millions and millions of dollars. I'm like, I can't do this.
Mm.
I can't analyze like this. If you guys are coming to me like bees in a bonnet, like get out of my face,
Yeah.
you know? And yeah, and so it was quite interesting. And it
Yeah.
was
That's the
funny
thing.
because one of my project managers that was the toughest for me, we're actually, he just lives around the corner from me. And now I see him and it's just like, I miss you and big hugs. But oh, at work, holy Dinah. Like we're just butt heads, right? In
Yeah.
in a good way, but it was just like, whew, you know,
Yeah. It's a lot. And I think
yeah.
one of the most important pieces is that staying grounded is super important. Staying heart centered,
Hmm.
super important. I'm not sure if it's because I meditate, but I physically feel an energy. I physically feel a sensation in my heart and in my chest when I'm there. I don't know if that came along the way of me tuning into that or not. I can't remember when that started,
Hmm.
but I know when I'm in my heart, when I'm in my heart, because I can feel it.
Hmm.
I like physically feel it. But I think one of the keys to the journey is not to beat yourself up or think something's wrong when you're not. Because
Yeah.
I find this is the one of the best tips I have for my clients and that they find really helpful is I say it's in the back and forth where you grow. So your journey is you're meant to go from conscious and unconscious back and forth a lot of the time. Now you're meant to become more and more aware of it,
Hmm.
right? And as a byproduct, you will be more in your heart, but you have to build on successes.
Hmm.
And if you beat yourself up every time you are unconscious or in your head or worried or fearful or make a decision out of an unresourceful, emotion, if you beat yourself up, you're just compounding the hurt on yourself and you're sort of restricting the process and the flow. But if you recognize that it's in back and forth that you grow, you learn, you expand, and you know
Hmm.
it's part of the journey, then you don't hold yourself back when you find yourself reflecting. You find yourself reflecting on the day, and I was heart centered here, I was in my head here, I was completely made a decision out of fear here, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's like the more you accept it and love that as part of the journey,
Yeah.
I think that's way more conscious
Well, and
than
it's also um, entrepreneurship is not for everybody, and recognizing that is a huge first step, right?
yeah,
And two, as an entrepreneur or a business owner, when you get those wins, no matter how small they are, celebrate them,
have to,
right?
have to,
Or the tough days are going to take you out,
yeah,
right? And just know this too shall pass, right? And and it can happen like within an hour of each other. Like, oh, just landed this great contract. Ah, the whole back end's falling out. You're going
yeah,
like, right? And
yeah,
but that's okay because you landed the new contract. You realized you kind of been slipping on your back end, and the processes aren't quite keeping up with how much you're growing, which is
yeah,
it's a blessing, right? In
yeah,
disguise. And and I used to say to clients too, like if you're stumbling a lot, have an accident, like being caught in traffic a lot, like you're not listening to turn right, don't go straight. Why? And you keep on going straight, you're going to be in traffic jams.
mm,
Those are all little whispers saying, are you on the right path?
yeah,
Right? Are you listening to your heart or your guidance, like that gut feeling of, oh, if I changed, turned right, I would have missed that whole kerfuffle. I wouldn't have been
yeah,
late. Right?
totally.
And
And that's not even like, and we can. I think what's important there that you just highlighted is that your guidance isn't always as big
no.
this big thing of here's what you're meant to do with your life. Here's the type of career you're meant to follow. Here's the person you're meant to be with. It's just these little things. It's these little, hey, today do this. Hey, today prioritize this. Today, right here and now, maybe go drink some water, take a nap, get out in the sun,
Hmm.
message that person, whatever. It's just these small nudges,
Hmm.
your intuition, your soul always sort of guiding you. And that's why after every meditation in the morning, my intention is there be like, what feels most expansive today? And I ask myself that a lot. If I'm ever just sitting there, I'm like, what do I do now? I like tune in. I'm like, what feels most expansive? What feels like my soul sort of nudging me there? Even if it's scary to
Hmm.
my mind, it'll be expansive to my heart. So let's do that. That's sort of my intention this year is doing daily um, expansions, like taking daily expansive action steps. Um, and once again, I don't know anyone who's following that who says, "Ah, it's not worth it."
Well, and it's also in a different way of speaking. I call that the flow of God,
Mm,
right? Because we're here because we're part of a bigger purpose, and we all have our unique gifts in this purpose, right? And if I'm trying to force something on the computer, it's not going to work out anyways. I'm going to have to redo it anyway. So it may as well just go for a walk, go chill on the couch for a minute, do something, and then come back and go, oh, that's what I was trying to figure out. Awesome,
yeah,
right?
funny
And
how it works.
yeah, and that's what I think about like with accidents and stuff. It's like because I was notorious when I was younger. Top of the stairs, I'd be at the bottom and forget the ring. And I'm like, what is going on? And it's because I wasn't present. I was
Yeah,
already halfway to home in my car. And
yeah,
I've heard lots of people say, "Oh yeah, I got home last night." And I'm like, "You don't remember anything." Nope,
yeah.
but I got
It's
home safely, right?
happens to everyone.
Yep.
Everyone. When I'm in a rush, I'm not in a rush very often, but I've noticed, as I was driving to a date, and I'll be like, I have this thing about being late and always wanting to be punctual and wanting to be on time, and um, that can be sort of an overdeveloped pattern of mine.
Hmm.
And so I find myself when I'm driving, I'm like, I never speed, but I'm like always in a little bit of like thinking, oh, hopefully I'll get this green light, hopefully whatever. And I noticed that, and I'm just like, hang on, breathe for a second,
Yeah.
just enjoy the freaking journey.
Yeah.
And what I've been doing lately, just playfully in my own body, is just sending gratitude to people that whoever I give way to, or if they give way to me.
Hmm.
Anytime that happens, just
Hmm.
sending them like a little blessing,
Hmm.
like that, like in my own head, just like, thank you,
Yeah.
thanks for waiting, dear soul, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And it's just to me, it's fun, but it provides obviously really good energy. But to just remind myself, like, you're not in a rush, just
Yeah.
you can enjoy the journey and send blessings and send good vibes along the way. It's just, to me, I found it to be a really good exercise. Just be like, let me notice anytime I give way to someone or they give way to me, and let me just,
Yeah.
silently but politely just sort of send them some good vibes.
Well, I used to call I well, I don't used to. I call them my like parking angels and green light angels. And oh, I must not be late because I'm hitting every red light and I still beat whoever I'm meeting.
Yeah.
Even though I'm 5 minutes late, they're 7 minutes late, so they don't know that I was right because I had one extra green light before they did. Um, so, but it's true, right? It's just it's being grateful for everything in your life,
Yeah.
like the birds, the flowers, like because we're going into summer and all these people in their gardens, and I always say thank you, and they're like, for what? And I go, making my walk beautiful.
Yeah.
because every yard has different flowers and people like different things. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. You like those kind of flowers? Interesting.
Yeah.
Like they're not
Yeah.
picking them because they're hardy or the color or whatever. They just it's and so it's for me, for a person who walks every day, it's like, oh, this is so cool. Like, oh, look at these flowers coming up, and oh, I never seen these flowers, and then I've gotten into conversations with people I've never would never have met, right? Just in the community, and
Yeah.
so
Especially in Canada when you can have such polar opposites with seasons. You got so much gratitude anytime a bit of warmth comes.
hmm
You like that. Thank God, thank God. I remember when I was living in Canada and it was as soon as it got above, I think it was like 12
yeah,
degrees, 14 degrees, like people are out having their picnics and barbecues and everyone's in shorts and throwing the frisbee down at the park and I'm like, that's the difference. That's
yeah,
the real genuine appreciation for having a bit of warmth and a bit of an environment where you can enjoy the day outside without rugging up and being too cold.
yeah. Well, and but it's also even in the cold, um, just put another layer on.
Yeah.
Still enjoy the beauty of the cold because every season, everything has its purpose, except for this season. We have smoke season right now, and it's
Oh,
brutal,
mm,
but it has its season, right? I don't know. Like the whole top of Canada is all on fire, but
yeah.
you know, we're not getting any water anymore. So I
Mm,
don't know what Canada is becoming, but it's losing its trees fast.
yeah. I mean, that's just Mother Nature, isn't it? Just
hmm
another force in the in this reality that some you just have to respect. You have to, you know, do what you can,
hmm
but also just know that it kind of humbles you, doesn't it?
Very
Kind
much
of
so.
very in terms of. I always think about this as well on our spiritual journey. There's sometimes an energy that's so much that's so powerful your mind can't comprehend. Your mind just can't comprehend
hmm
how powerful that is.
hmm
But yet it's so powerful. You just have to surrender to it.
hmm
It's quite a spiritual path to
hmm
just be in loving acceptance and surrender to Mother Nature. It's something that's so much larger than what your mind can comprehend. So I think there's kind of those little lessons in everything, hey?
Well, and it wasn't until I met my friend while I was a tour operator, she's a tour guide, that a tree actually has more life dead than it does living. And I went, pardon? Like we're walking down this path in Banff, and I'm like, why would a tree be more alive dead than living, right?
Yeah.
And because I'm like, because I know a tree, for every inch you see above, there's an inch of roots.
Mm.
She goes, the difference is it only can grow up or down with the soil it has around. Yes, it helps for tree or shade, it helps for birds. When it's fallen, moss grows. All these creatures have a place to live. And I'm like, huh. It becomes mulch. It becomes,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, so it's better fallen.
Mm.
Who knew?
Interesting. I
Yeah.
mean, I know Banff. I used to live there, and
hmm
there's there's trees everywhere. But you feel this sort of symbiotic relationship with everything.
hmm
There's so many. The nature is so rich with animals there, and um, you just feel you just feel one with something greater when
Nature.
when you're in that dense of nature and in the animals and obviously the mountains, obviously the river. You've got this little pocket of paradise where you're
hmm
just like everyone's just in awe all the time.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's just the magic of being in nature and really taking it in.
hmm
Um, I just find that really healing.
Well, and I'm gonna go a little woo woo. Um, so if you're aware of the archangels, like Michael, Gabriel, they're all up in our mountains. Like Moraine Lake has one, um, Lake O'Hara, like, and it's really interesting. So there's different times of the year that you'll be up there. Like 2012 was one for me. I took the day off and I was like, I was being called to the mountains and I listened to the call and I went to all the lakes, spent my time, did meditation, walked, sat, journaled, and I got home 2 hours longer than if I'd went to work. So that was a really good eye opener that I can spend all this beautiful time in my mountains or go to work. And it was it was the biggest shift that I felt personally of the understanding of what we were waking up to for today,
Mm.
right? Because you call on Archangel Michael and he's there. Like it's not like, oh, you feel him. It was like talk about heart expansion. Like I thought my heart was getting like ripped open. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
a little bit too tight, a little bit softer, please, right?
Calm down.
Yeah. And even when I was in the tour industry, like um so many of the people would be like, you're so blessed. And I go, okay, why? Look it.
Mm.
And I go, yeah, I'm very blessed. Because that's only one area, right? We have all the south, we have the east. Like, yeah, I mean, very blessed. Very blessed.
Was there a moment when you first sort of felt a heart's nudge that you're like, there's something bigger happening here than my mind can comprehend? Do you remember a time where either you felt a first real heart's calling or whether there was one that really stood out for you?
um, I've had them throughout my life because I've been very guided since I was 3. I've spent a lot of time up in the mountains alone and being with the archangels, but never have I felt the pull like I do now for the men's circle.
Yeah.
Never. And even Wilhelm has given me messages through Roger. Um, my own guides are giving me messages of, oh, don't think if it's a circle. And I'm like, well, if it's not a circle, why am I calling it a circle? Right? You're the one that gave me the name. And so the people who are being called to the work I do, it's not about this time, it's about clearing the trauma of generational DNA,
Mm.
right? So, like, for instance, like, say it was your fifth great grandfather, but you've said, I'll clear it now for the whole generation. So now your kids don't have, if and when you have kids, they don't have to carry it on.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are in that space, especially the 45 to 6 year olds, if they're into the woo woo. You younger guys are just like, oh, I'm not taking this on. Like it's done. It's like I'm complete. It's done. And you're doing
Yeah.
it quite naturally. Where my generation is saying, okay, so how do I do this? And where am I
Yeah.
going? And I'm saying, come because it's time,
Yeah. And
you
people
know?
can feel the difference.
Yeah.
You know, they feel the night and day difference when they're like go from living one way to living another way. When you go from living very much in your head, very
Hmm.
much following logic,
Hmm.
um, being very stoic, doing what you think you should do because of the expectations of other people, and that served us for a long time. But you just know when you're following something greater, you're following your heart, you're following your real soul's calling.
Hmm.
It just provides uh, a depth on life and more empowering meaning on life, and life just responds.
Hmm.
Life just responds. It's just your mind can't understand or comprehend that, but it is just an unfolding that you just see evidence time and time and time again.
Hmm.
And anyone who starts living that way, they don't go back. You
Well,
know,
and here's another example. So I used to work at Trans Canada Energy, and every day for 4.5 years of walking in that building, I'm like, right initials, wrong building. I didn't know what I was saying. Then I'm coming into, okay, well, touring's fun, but there's got to be more. I was also going to university at the time. And I'm like, right initials, what does that mean? And by happen chance, I was looking for names, just as my friend is looking for names as we're talking to each other. And I went, transition clarity. He goes, I just got that one too. And I'm like, it's mine. And I bought it. Right. And I said, right initials. I'm still in energy,
yeah,
just a different, not oil and gas, now
yeah,
spiritual energy. Right. And that one took a long time to come around,
mm,
you know. But I also think, oh, how interesting. It was like the same time as the year of the snake back in 2013. And now it's right. We're shedding the skin of the snake right now. What doesn't work anymore? What were
mm,
you doing 12 years ago that you're trying to push through that just isn't working?
yeah,
Right. And my biggest thing is when I'm talking to the men of, like networking has brought me out more than my guides did because they're saying they like women are so hostile to them. I'm like,
mm,
hostile? Like you really want to use that word? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, interesting,
yeah.
right? And then they'll have a call with me, like I haven't even had a session, just a call, and they're just like, wow, you really do see us. I'm like, okay. Because I had oil and gas for 25 years,
Yeah.
all men.
Yeah.
And even the women that came up through the ranks were men. Like, I'm like, holy masculine guys, like, what the heck? And
Yeah.
so it's understanding that before I even thought about the men's circle, I was being prepared as a 6 year old because I was out with the boys dirt biking. I was out with the boys doing whatever. I was out with the, right?
That's one of
They,
the things these days. That's why the work is so important. What you're doing is because intimate relationships and especially men's work is becoming so much more popular because everyone, I shouldn't say everyone, but generalizing, a lot of people are just so confused with how do I need to be in my life, in my relationship? How do I blend my feminine and masculine energies so that neither of them is toxic. Neither of them are too overdeveloped and in the toxic stage. And so I'm even finding so with myself and people
mm-hmm,
in the serving circle know this well, but I've got very much a healthy blend of masculine and feminine. Not the
mm-hmm,
most masculine guy, but I'm definitely masculine at my core,
mm-hmm,
but have a very soft feminine side as well.
mm-hmm,
Um, and I had to learn how to be a guy in a relationship. I had
mm-hmm,
to, I actually had to learn that. I'm always very kind, very generous, very caring, but that was overdeveloped in terms of people pleasing. And so when I got into a relationship that was a little bit more challenging, I just went back to people pleasing patterns and had a real difficult time maintaining just polarity and maintaining that spark. Other relationships I had, we could just maintain the spark because we both got along. But this challenging relationship really had an effect on me where I'm like, I really have to look at something within myself here because I've got some patterns I didn't know were there.
but it's
And so,
also not in alignment.
true,
Yes, great. See the patterns, see the understanding, but it's like, it's not supposed to be this hard.
correct, yeah,
And
I
and you're not,
understand
and,
that.
and I'm not saying that a relationship won't have its ups and downs and like that's, but I actually had someone say that she just got divorced and I said, "Oh, that sorry for that." And she goes, "Because he wouldn't understand I wasn't shutting my company down because he was retiring. He wasn't open and capable to understand that she still had a life outside of him.
Yeah.
And it came down to like they split. And so now he's coming home to nothing. And I'm like, well, that backfired big time. Instead of just saying, okay, as I ease into retirement and like you have your company still, keep going. Well, maybe I'll pick up some of the house stuff and maybe I'll start planning our holidays
Mhm.
and in saying, does this time frame work for you instead of her always doing it, right? And she goes, yeah, like it was really sad. Like she was heartbroken that it broke up just because he was so stubborn.
Mm.
And it didn't have to be.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. Like I say to the women, like men want to come home and be the nurturer,
Yeah.
right? But they also have to feel safe enough to be able to let their guard down and cry. And they said, well, I let him. I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. Right?
Yeah.
Because you're coming home saying, I need that hug. Well, yeah, he'll give you that hug as that strong person. But you also have to say, are you okay today? Can I help? And if you don't, they're bottling it.
Mm.
Because it's even when like going for the football game or going to the hockey game, it's like they sit side by side. They're never directly in front. Even two couples going for dinner. If the men are sitting across from each other, one will shift slightly over an inch or two. Because if they don't, they get their fight or flight. And it's just a matter of time before they go into that, right? And that's not what we're supposed to do,
Yeah.
right? And so one person said, how interesting. I'm gonna when we go out for dinner next, I'm gonna see because he had already recognized he actually turns his seat slightly in his own like he goes, no, well, no, I turned my seat. And I go, so you're not direct.
Yeah.
He turns it so he's more inclusive of the whole table. But until I brought it up, he never realized he did it. He just naturally
Mm.
does it to keep out that fight or flight.
How interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. And this is where working with people fascinates me because I'm like, whoo, what are you going to show me that I'm having a shadow with?
Yeah.
Right? You probably see it in your own clients,
Yeah.
right?
Definitely.
Of like, you know, Bob or Jill or whoever is coming, and you're like, really? That's what we're working on? And
Mm.
so as the person who's helping, we got to clear it first.
Yeah. I actually was very surprised after I ended my last relationship. How many people coming into my life that were in the stage where like, should I end my relationship or not? Things aren't going well and whatever. Like so many unexpected people just all of a sudden had that question in their mind as I had gone through that journey. And obviously, um, it's it's a balance. You
Hmm.
don't want to end a relationship too quickly because you don't want to look at your stuff. But
Hmm.
obviously, you have to know, you have to recognize when it's not a right fit, and it's kind of one of those things where you have to you have to go within to find that answer because I know I've avoided problems and avoided challenges because I didn't want to look at my stuff,
Hmm.
and therefore I missed the lessons. Came back until I learned the lesson.
Hmm.
Um, but then just simply to know when things are just not aligned, they just you
Hmm.
just no matter how much you do your inner work and whatever, that it's just not meant to be.
Hmm.
It's simply just energetically just it's not on the cards, you know.
Hmm.
So understanding that is really what a lot of people started coming to me with once I went through that journey.
Well, and we teach what we know the most, right? That's why I had such a hard time with, I go, man, men only? What? Like,
Yeah.
right? Because why are they going to listen to me? And over and over and over. It says it doesn't matter. They do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And then when people like I was testing different things in with people I've met throughout networking, and it would be like you get us, you understand where we. And I'm like, okay, so is this confirmation after confirmation after confirmation?
Yeah.
And now there's like after my call with Christopher, there's no doubt I am on the big stage for a huge transformation for the men.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing the
Needed.
work. I'm just your lighthouse.
Yeah.
So you want to go to A to B? Great. You want to go to A to C? Great. If you want to go A to X? Great. I'm your
Yeah.
lighthouse.
Yeah. Men are very confused these days, especially with, their purpose in life coupled with who am I meant to be in my relationship? How do I show up in ways that are more authentic in all those arenas,
Hmm.
and a lot of men are taught, okay, toxic masculinity, don't do that. Be kind and compassionate, but also when I do that, I don't want to people please either. And sort of, there's all these questions like, how do I actually show up in a way that's authentic, in a way that's aligned, in a way where I get to not only achieve my goals but enjoy the journey along the way? And people like need navigation.
Well, and it's also have you been stripped of your identity as a male because of the women in your life, right? Because they've taken over the role of nurture and strong,
Mm,
right? How much of it as a couple generations now have been single parent, right? And I see it a lot. Like even people driving around here, if there's a woman in the car, the men aren't driving. It's
mm.
just the way it is. And I'm like, wow. So women have to chill, come back into their feminine,
Yeah, yeah,
right? And it's a journey for them too. And but the men have to start realizing that they've allowed the people in their life to strip them of who they are.
yeah, yeah. That
And
was
that
me.
take
I wasn't very confident being a leader in a relationship. I wasn't comfortable sharing that I have, like, sharing my needs, wants, desires. I wasn't comfortable setting boundaries, any of that, especially leading. I was very much a kind of person in a relationship where I'm like, I'm very good in an intimate relationship because I'm very easygoing. Um, yeah, sure, great quality, but I would lack the ability to execute, plan, set a vision, lead, all these things. And I
but
had
now
to
you
learn.
wouldn't.
Now I
Now
just
you
do it.
wouldn't. No,
Now,
because I can see that you didn't do it before, but what I see in the serving circle, you definitely just this is the way it is. This is how it's going. If you don't like it, it's my circle,
yeah,
right? And the thing is like you call it people pleasing, but it's also finding your own backbone in what you're doing.
yeah,
And you've also started coaching very young, right? So you hadn't really even found yourself
correct.
because we're not fully adults until we're 28. And so if you're trying to find yourself at 24, 25, starting to coach, that's awesome, but crazy,
Yeah, I
right?
you kind of had that those dualities in my mind of when did I start coaching? I think I was 26, 25, maybe.
Yeah, you're still considered a child.
Yeah, still, and even now, still very. Most people in the serving circle, as you know, are a
Older.
lot older than me. Um, as I'm 35, turning 36. And I'm like, a part of me in growing up and getting into this field, I'm like, dude, you're super young. You don't have a lot of quote unquote life experience. Like, who are you to be coaching, sharing these sort of things, sharing your journey, whatever. Um, but just what's been even more loud is just like I've got some wisdom and I've got some strategies and a skill set that can help people. And if it can help a few people, and then that's what's worth it. My focus has always been on contribution. And if I've got something that can help someone, then
Hmm.
I can't let the doubts, you know, deaden that. It's always just led from contribution.
And it's also you attract the people that don't look at age.
Yeah.
We look at the wisdom because whether you're
Yeah.
5 years old, 35, 75, it's age is a number. The
Yeah.
soul
Yeah.
has the purpose of what they're transmitting,
Yeah. True.
right? Because when I was 5 and 6 with this gift, people were like, oh, we'll just go. And I'm like, no.
Mm.
They go, why wouldn't you go in that house? No. It just drive my parents absolutely batty because
Yeah.
they'd be like, and they go, well, go play with the kids downstairs. No. Especially if it wasn't a house I knew things weren't right. I didn't leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It wasn't until I was later and started coaching and started realizing bad stuff happens in closets, in basements, in I'm like, whoa.
Mm.
So whether it's the people that own the house, I don't know. It could have been ghosts for all I know. Bad
Mm.
crap happened in that basement. Not going down there.
Yeah. You just feel it.
Yeah. And a lot of the times I would see it. I'd be like, there's an old man standing above your head, right?
Do you know he's there?
Yeah. Right. And so it's like, meh. But I couldn't explain it. I couldn't share it.
Yeah.
But I also know my grandfather put me on this path because we would we would take a 15-minute walk and take 3 to 4 hours to do it, right? Because we looked at every bird, every butterfly, every tree, every blade, like, right? Because everything had meaning. Everything came into who we are as people today,
Mm.
right? And it's even right now, like, I got a group of crows just flying around. I'm like, something's not good in the neighborhood. I don't know what, but the last time we had this many crows around the neighborhood, someone lost their daughter, right? And I'm like, I don't know who's going, but I'm watching every house,
Mm.
watching where the crows are going, right? So, as we're wrapping up, what do you want the listeners to know about you, the circle, what you're doing?
Um, what I want them to know about, the main message I have, and as we've talked about in this conversation, any opportunity I can, I just want people to know that they do have a heart's calling, they do have a soul's mission.
Hmm.
You can feel that for yourself. Uh, Having the courage to take those leaps and then process the emotions along the way, and then just detach any expectation or assumption as to what that leap may lead to, just unfolds magic.
Hmm.
If I always encourage people to just listen in and do that. Um, in terms of the serving circle, of course, as you're a part of it, and
Hmm.
many people are, I just really love having people who are following that journey and who do have a mission to heighten consciousness. I want them to have a real space where they can build their business from a place of connection and consciousness and real compassion with one another. And that's if people are drawn to that energy, of course, we welcome them with open arms.
Hmm.
But I think they owe it to themselves to just really listen in and find themselves in that space of passion. Like what really lights them up, what's in their highest excitement, what really gets that soul's calling going. And if that's something that they have the courage to take and to take that
Hmm.
leap, then I'm a big advocate for it.
Hmm. And I also contribute to you too, like the variety of people in the serving circle. Like we have some pretty big hitters in this circle.
Yeah.
And we're we're just all coming humbly along,
Yep.
right? And that's the best part is there's no egos. It's just we are here to serve. Whoever likes our work calls and checks in. Whoever doesn't,
Yep.
that's all good. It's all
Mhm.
good. So I want to thank you for being on the show. And
Pleasure.
we'll have all the show notes and come to the serving circle. We'd love to have you. Thank you, Tyson.
Thank you.
Well, didn't that conversation say you want to join the serving circle? Tyson's just a bright light with a big heart who truly just wants to serve. And he's doing it in his own authentic way through the serving circle. And it's a great group of people. Like we said in the show, we all come with our powerful gifts in the most humble way. And it's a family. And I'm grateful to know Tyson. And if you want to know more, there, I like I said, the things will be in the show notes. And I'll just mention again that I have men's transformational circles where you can come in a safe environment, speak from the heart, what's weighing on you, what you're trying to figure out on your journey, have deep healing, and more importantly, be seen like you've never been seen before. That is my wish for you. And I truly hope you will think about it and come have a conversation with me if you're unsure. But more importantly, I want you to like this podcast. I want you to share this podcast. I want you to subscribe to the podcast because the subscriptions and the likes and the comments are really what helps these podcasts grow and expand, and the people we get to share expands. So, thanks for listening to another authentic conversation with Adele. And today, our guest was Tyson Sharpe from the Serving Circle.